After 100 years of conquest, expansion, and integration of other peoples, other ethnicities, and other religions into their empire, which now straddled Asia and Europe, the Ottomans had reached a crisis point. But this crisis point did not come along due to a Western Catholic crusade or due to the Byzantine emperor based in Constantinople. It came due to a Muslim ruler from the east. The last great nomadic conqueror, Timur the Lame, the man who walked with a limp, had made the Ottoman Empire limp. After he defeated them at the Battle of Ankara, he split the empire up amongst the four sons of Bayezid, and many Turkic beyliks in Anatolia declared their independence and autonomy. So the Ottomans had lost a lot of prestige amongst their own subject population, and the air of the invincible Turk had completely gone in the minds of the Europeans. So in many respects, they were back to square one. But if that was bad enough, worse was yet to come. Bayezid the Thunderbolt was succeeded by four sons called Suleiman, Musa, Isa, and Mehmet, pronounced in English as Solomon, Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad, all named after prophets. But unfortunately, they didn't behave like prophets, because each one had control of a part of the empire, and a civil war ensued to see who would be the fittest, the strongest, and be able to unify the empire. This would be a fight which would take 10 years, and it would entail trying to get control of the key cities of Bursa and this one Edirne, and also who could win over the populations in Anatolia and Rumeli, and who could ally with the strongest states to help them in their cause, be it the Byzantines or the other states in Europe. In the end, it was Muhammad, or Mehmet, who won the civil war and was able to unify both sides of the empire, Anatolia and Rumeli, and therefore he became Mehmet I, while his brothers had all died in the fighting. When Bayezid the Thunderbolt ascended the throne of the Ottoman Empire, it was at the Battle of Kosovo, the end of the battle, and his brother Yaqub got killed. When Mehmet I became the Sultan of the Ottoman Empire, it was after a civil war, and his brothers had been killed, and this all cemented in the minds of Ottoman political elites that brothers were a problem and needed to be eliminated for the good of the empire. But it wasn't only these circumstances which made them think like this. You see, the Ottomans were from a Turco-Mongol tradition, which is very different in terms of succession to Europe. So in Europe, when the king dies, the throne passes to the eldest son, and then everyone gets on with it, no problem. But in Turco-Mongol tradition, every single son of the deceased ruler has a right to claim the throne, and quite often they end up fighting each other to see who will become the ruler. This often led to Turco-Mongol empires splitting up very, very quickly. Good examples of this is the Mongol Empire itself, initiated by Genghis Khan, or the Seljuk Empire, and even the Mughals in India would go through the same process. So the Ottomans, being very good students of history, were very, very keen to prevent this, and from now on, brothers of a deceased sultan would always be on the lookout, because they knew very soon they were going to get eliminated. As for Mehmet, he was born here in Bursa, and as an Ottoman prince, he received the traditional education that an Ottoman prince would receive. So he was instructed in the Islamic disciplines, as well as the sciences, the arts, and languages. And another tradition that the Ottomans had with their princes is that they would send them to far-flung areas of the empire for them to become the governor of that region, so that they would get used to ruling an area, a subject population, and also handling a court. And Mehmet was sent to Amasya, which is in the far east of Anatolia, and it is from there where he began his campaign against his brothers in the civil war to become the eventual undisputed sultan. Also, as a prince, Mehmet was present on the battlefield of Ankara, where he witnessed his father, Bayezid, have a devastating defeat against Timur. So at the age of 24, when he'd united Anatolia and Rumeli under his name, he was well versed in politics. He had a lot of experience in statecraft and war, and he would need all these skills, all this knowledge to help him for the problems that he was going to face now as the undisputed Sultan of the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire was in a fragile state. The Serbians in Rumeli had declared their independence. Many beyliks in Anatolia had proclaimed their independence as well, and the Byzantine Empire, for the first time in a long time, had managed to gain some land in the wake of the Ottoman Civil War. So Mehmet I had to get to work. He brutally put down rebellions in Anatolia and then moved to Rumeli and managed to take areas such as Albania and Wallachia, which is a Romanian province. It took him about 8 years, and it was a lot of hard work, but he managed to do it and restore Ottoman land, Ottoman pride, and Ottoman prestige. What happened then was the Timurids, who had defeated his father at the Battle of Ankara in 1402, decided to release an Ottoman prince who they'd kept in captivity because they thought the Ottoman realm was becoming too stabilized and that this prince would hopefully cause some problems, which he did. On arrival, Mehmet had to deal with him, and he put that rebellion down easily. As a result of restoring Ottoman lands, he's known as Mehmet Çelebi, or Mehmet the Honourable, and is considered the second founder of the Ottoman Empire. His role in the Ottoman Empire is often understated because of a certain other Mehmet, which we're going to talk about later. But without him, the Ottoman Empire may have finished at this point, and there may have been no further conquests of a specific city in the future, shall we say. Keep watching. One day, Mehmet the Honourable, Mehmet Çelebi, was riding his horse, and all of a sudden he fell off and he became paralyzed from the waist down. And it became pretty obvious that very soon he was going to lose his life and die. While he was on his deathbed, he told his Grand Viziers and other Viziers not to let anybody know that he'd passed away, so that his favourite son Murad could make his way from Amasya, where he was governing in eastern Anatolia, and take the throne, because this would have been a very good opportunity for someone else to stake his claim and cause a civil war. It took 42 days for Murad to arrive, and in the meantime the Viziers had other people dressed up as Mehmet and displayed in public but from afar, not to arouse any suspicions that he'd passed away. Another civil war now would have been a threat to Dine Devlet, religion and the state. The key Ottoman concept where religion and the state were two concepts which were symbiotic and needed each other in order to function properly. In the end, when Murad came, no one found out that Mehmet had died, and he succeeded without any problems. And his father was laid to rest here in the Yeşil tomb, or the green tomb, in Bursa, along with his 42 wounds from all his campaigns in Rumeli, Europe, and Anatolia, Asia.